Hey, it's me. I just figured that I would address the absolute firestorm that's going on in the comments section of my biggest video, Yugi is not the king of games, here's why. Previously titled Yami Yugi, but then I realized that if I kept that, people would just come in and keep commenting, yeah, it's little Yugi. And I'm like, yeah, that's actually my bad. I should have just titled that better. That video was incredibly researched. I spent about 12 hours on it for the point of researching and also just trying to get all of the clips to render correctly and not get copyright claimed by YouTube, so I'm not using any anime clips in this one. Hope that's okay with y'all. I'm also going to go completely off the cuff because it's late, I wanted to address this, and there are quite a few comments that I feel like I need to get through, just so that you can, like, link this video if people just keep saying dumb things in the comment section. Because some things are very legitimate criticisms, and I will talk about those, but a lot of them are complete non-anythings, so I'd like to talk about those too. Also, if you haven't seen that video, go check that out before we really dive deep into this. It's only a few days ago. You should be able to find it on the channel, and while you're there, make sure to subscribe. Go to the Discord, go to the Twitch, whatever you want. I'm gonna be streaming by the time y'all see this. So, it's gonna be the tournament from the casual format that I was talking about. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video because I have looked into quite a few things and I just want to be sure that we address everything. So let's start on the first comment. This one from Black Rose is, I'm not seeing the point. It's to have fun. And I would like to have fun and talk about something that I really like, which is Yu-Gi-Oh! Something that I've watched quite a bit of, played quite a bit of, and played quite a bit of in video game form. The point is that I find it very funny that Kaiba just says, yeah, if I beat Yugi once, then I'm gonna be king of games. And don't worry, if you disagree with that statement, that'll be up soon. But we'll get there. Next one is, the troll is strong with this one. I'm 100% serious. I don't think you understand how much I put into that video. I am 100% serious. There is not a joke in there. I will be completely honest, like, there is no trolling happening right now. I know it's ridiculous, but I am not trolling. It's just that crazy to keep track of. Your GX/Judai nostalgia wank is kind of silly, TBH. I named myself after Jaden because I like him a lot as a character, and I kind of, like, resonate with him. And I do like GX. Is this just an issue of me liking a show? Like, I wasn't even biased towards GX in any way. All I said was like, hey, if you haven't seen the show, check it out, it's cool. And then I ranted about it throughout the video. I was like, this is incredibly messed up and weird for my research. It was super inconvenient, like, having to try and figure out if I should count the online game, and if it was an online game, because I was looking at the scene, and it was, like, unclear for a moment on if it was Jaden playing another game that he just lost to someone else, or if it was to Cyrus. I had to try and figure it out, and at the end I came to the conclusion that it was to Cyrus, because, funnily enough, there's nothing in the dialogue that actually suggests it. It's kind of just hinted, and I figured that would be the case. That's about as far as it went. But no, my nostalgia wank is not going on. Haven't watched the show in years. I have seen, like, clips and looked back on it. I haven't watched the show from front to back in years. Didn't Kaiba himself pop up later in GX? I think you mean Kaiba? And yes, actually, he does come up later. He duels one guy who's, like, snuck into the Slifer Red dorm. It's like this guy. He just kind of looks like a weed-smoking 20-year-old. Like a really bad 20-year-old, or like a pretty alright 40-year-old. It's like, that's his description. And that is in a flashback, and I just could not place the time of it, and I also don't think it matters, because Kaiba wins anyway. So it doesn't really matter. He does show back up, that's his only duel, and in other cases, he speaks to Sartorius for a little bit. That's something he can do. It's just not important duel-wise.
Before watching, it's simply because he cheats all the time. That's not skill.
I don't know if you were expecting this video to bring up, like, Atem's infidelity in the dueling world. Like, I'm going to talk about, like, he's not the king of games because I made the council, and I'm going to say he's not anymore because he cheated, when everyone else in the universe just seems totally okay with it. Like, the only people who seem mad that Atem cheats, and they don't really give, like, any good excuses aside from Duelist Kingdom, where he's, like, everyone... Like, the game's completely different. DM came out before the actual card game came out. So that's why everything is weird. It's just, like, competitive Dungeons & Dragons DMing. That's how I always pitch it to people, and they're like, okay, that's just kind of how it goes. And it's not really, like, Duel Monsters. It's not Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, as quickly as possible. It's not it's not as refined as it is in Battle City or Awakening the Dragons or anything like that. That's kind of just how it goes. But no, I am, it's not because he cheats. Like, I'm pretty sure he wins more because he cheats. Kaiba Man definitely isn't Kaiba. He says it's okay to lose. Kaiba would never say that. I don't think that's valid. Dude, it's been a couple years, and he's, like, not a complete sociopath. You see that he's loosened up quite a bit in, external media, if you really want to count that. Like DSOD, but I didn't count it for this, and don't worry, we'll talk about that later. But also, he's quite different just in, like, speaking to Sartorius and stuff like that. He's not, like, a complete megalomaniac. You see him with things like shooting the Neospatians into space, but that's, like, during the DM era. Like, Jaden's just a kid. Like, we're talking about the DM era? I don't really know the exact year. It's not said, and I don't know if it's really truly implied. But I believe it to be, like, around Season 5 or 4 or something like that. I don't know. You can call that a retcon all you like, or you can just say it happened off-screen, because if you captured all of Kaiba's shenanigans, it would be a series in and of itself.
Bruh, if Kaiba Man win, Yugi's the king of games. He win in Dark Side of Dimentios. Bro, you misspelled a word with 2 letters in it. But I guess I should talk about DSOD. DSOD is a very weird scenario that I didn't know where to place. Because A, it goes off the manga canon, and I'm primarily going off the anime canon. If you don't agree with that, then you're one of the many, many people who have typed in comments that say that I shouldn't count any of Season 4, and don't worry, we'll talk about that in a bit, but I did. I count the anime. I count the anime, no, whatever, if you call it filler, that's still a part of the show, but if it's a dubism, I don't count it. That's kind of just how it goes. And Dark Side of Dimensions is manga canon, while I went off anime canon, so it already wouldn't be a thing. If you're wondering the primary difference, Kaiba wasn't there to see the ceremonial duel. That's, like, the primary thing, I guess, and what a lot of people were probably confused about going into the movie theater. But when it came to this, it's also just strange as to when that or GX would happen, so not only is it a different timeline entirely, I don't know, like, exact years on when DSOD and GX, like, when those two could co-align if they were happening at the same time. So, we'd have to see. I'm not making that game theory, you know? I'm not going to worry about it. So, yeah, I just don't count Dark Side Dimensions at all, and fun fact, I still have never seen it all the way through. I got bored halfway through when I was watching it with my partner at the time. It is, I know what happens in it, it's just kinda boring to me. Like, keep in mind, I love Yu-Gi-Oh!, but that doesn't mean I'm just going to fangirl over every little thing that exists in the franchise. I disagree with this, I can tell by the name Sweet Rants, because the only way to win the title of King of Games is to win a tournament. I got a lot of these, saying that it was specifically with a tournament. I don't think that's valid, because, I know that, you know, it would make sense for that to be the case, but considering Kaiba literally just creates his own tournament purely for the sake of, like, getting the god cards and getting the title of King of Games, I just don't think that really matters, and in that case, it's just not interesting. Like, it's genuinely not as interesting. I just wanted to talk about, like, one-off duels and stuff like that, because I think that, honestly, it would just be, like, if you're going to have an official match, you know, like, that's, and we're going off of Kaiba logic, which are both things that I spoke about in the beginning of the video. I said it was just by Kaiba saying, yeah, all I have to do is beat Atem once. Beat the Pharaoh. You know, like, just once. That's a whole joke. That's the joke of this, essentially just going off of chains of losses. And I figured that would be a funny video, but a lot of people, it's not even that y'all took it too seriously, it's that y'all, like, just didn't get the message. Like, that's genuinely the thing that I'm trying to write home about. I feel like there was just a big dissonance because I said it out loud and then a bunch of people just didn't read it, and then a bunch of other people upvoted those comments, which is ridiculous to me. Like, dude, it was in the beginning of the video. It's not even something I smashed in at the end or anything. I just feel as if it was a lot more fun to go off of not just tournaments. You get wacky things like Frost and Chill. Cyrus versus Hasselberry. Cyrus lost, so Hasselberry in King of Games. Okay, so 2 things. 1, wouldn't really matter, because they both lost in the same tag duel to Frost and Chill. So it doesn't truly matter, right? Like, I believe there was a duel between those, but I didn't even check Tyranno because I didn't count it. Because of our second point, that is a dubism. That is literally just a thing that happens in the dub. And I don't consider the dub to be the most documented version of Yu-Gi-Oh! I go off of original subtitles and original broadcast subtitles that have been refined and have official sources. That's about where I go. Because of the fact that I can't count dubisms. Like, what if a character just says, "Oh, remember when I lost to you, Jaden?" And now I've got to look at that one offbeat thing, but even the wiki says that it's just a dubism, so I don't... Like, it's just not a thing that matters to me. This doesn't count, and I'm not gonna worry about it. Y'all ever notice how every one of Atem's duels that he lost are non-canon? Well, I'd like to say that canonicity in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a very, touchy subject, and I'd love to bring this up in a separate video all on its own, but, the main issue is that there's an anime canon and there's a manga canon for pretty much everything, right? Like, that just makes sense for a lot of anime as well. Like, you know, if you're talking about, like, One Piece, for example, you're gonna get things like filler, where we need the manga to be able to, or the anime to be able to, the manga to be able to catch up to the anime. That the anime's just being produced much faster, whatever it is. Like, you just need some filler. It could go either way, I guess, is the way to say it. That's why you'll get, like, a lot of garbage in Naruto, just to, like, wait for the manga to catch back up, because you just have the mangaka just, like, waiting to get things done, or taking just a while to write, and, you know, there's a lot to go on there. But what I mean specifically about Yu-Gi-Oh! Is that if you look at Yu-Gi-Oh! And then you look at the manga Yu-Gi-Oh! And you see, like, things like Yu-Gi-Oh! R, and then for every manga after that point, you have GX onwards, it's just completely different, right? Like, in GX, you have, like, the Sacred Beasts, and that's, like, not even a concern in the manga. You have the Legendary Planets. Like, they are fully different. You have completely original characters, like, Zexal has Kyoji Yagumo, who just kind of looks like Gon and Killua combined. Love my Hunter x Hunter representation. So it's completely different. Like, if you're going to say that that the anime is, like, doing filler or this, that, the other thing, it's just not going to be the case in Yu-Gi-Oh! And I feel like if it's going to apply to everything after the point, it should apply to this. Just because, you know, I'm not going to be talking about Season 0, which is, like, retconned within the show, even. I'm not going to worry about it. That's just, like, not fun to do. Like, it's, like, pretty much not canon anymore. Like, where's that blue-haired chick from Season 0? Huh? Anyone gonna talk about her? No? Okay, y'all forgot about her too. Kaiba is the MVP of all series up to Zexal. If Cyrus won 10 seg scene counts, my losing to Raphael also counts. Okay, well, first of all, the Cyrus scene, like, we saw the duel, and we saw it end, so that absolutely counts, and I don't think you're arguing that point. The second one is my losing to Raphael, and we have... a lot of people brought this up. A lot of people brought this up. And all I wanted to say that even if it's an off-screen duel, in pretty much every other off-screen duel that we ever, like, see the end state of the duelist, like, you know, getting blown back or anything like that, you see cards on the duel disc, you see cards in the deck. She didn't even have anything in the duel disc, and I really doubt that Raphael decked her out, and she had nothing else on the field, and she had Claw of Hermos in hand. Seems a little ridiculous, but if I'm over-evaluating this, which could be fair, I just feel as if it's not, like, confirmed, because we also see souls get taken without duels in the Orichalcos arc. It's primarily by non-duelists, but it's super weird. It's super weird. Like, it's not written too well. It's kind of just spectacle over substance for quite a bit of Season 4. And that's why you get things like Beyond Infinity and stuff like that, which is not even a dubism. Like, that's just a thing. It's like, oh yeah, Infinity plus 1 is like a real thing in Yu-Gi-Oh!, which is ridiculous. In addition to that, we're really just gonna say that Raphael couldn't just, like, steal her soul out of pure insolence or anything like that. I feel like we can't rule it out, which is why I guess I could have, like, made a timeline split for it. I could have, but I just didn't think it was necessary. I felt as if it was not exactly open and shut, but I did feel as if, you know, one of those lines is just entirely boring, and it's just like, okay, from Mai to Raphael to Atem, and then to Lil Yugi. Like, that's it. There you go. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? Wow, you really clicked on this cool video to learn nothing. What about the theory that Joey defeated Yugi after Battle City? Yugi was the king of games after the duel with Merrick. Okay, there is so much wrong with this. First of all, that's a theory, which I'd like to note if you've never heard it. It's essentially just saying, oh yeah, how did Joey get his red eyes back? People just don't realize that that Atem could have just, like, given it to him, like a human being does to their friend. Like, that's... Like, that's the concern? So Joey had to duel him in an official tournament that wasn't an official tournament because you guys really care about official tournaments, except when it comes to Joey and Atem for some reason. You just gotta bring up that, oh yeah, Joey must have won. And second of all, we're going off of a theory, so no. I'm not going to base anything off of that, because I just, like... it's not going to change the King of Games title over. I'm not going to base it off of that in and of itself. And then Yugi was the King of Games after the duel with Merrick. Man just straight up didn't watch the video. Like, Battle City was entirely skipped. It went from Rebecca to Valen. Like, you skipped all of Battle City there. And even a lot of post-Battle City and Virtual World, just to note, like, that whole arc? That didn't happen. So now, it's the salt mines. If Michael Jordan decided to go easy and lose to a kid on purpose, does that make the kid hold the title greatest basketball player ever? Okay. I gotta, like, unwrap this, like, layers, bro. Like, I feel like I gotta take off the saran wrap to this one. So, first of all, this is in a theoretical circumstance where, because it's an actual game and it's not, like, training or sparring or anything like that, you're essentially saying that a kid is going to be, like, this is like a one-on-one. This is like David and Goliath, right? Like, it's just going to be, like, two people on a basketball court. And then Michael Jordan's going to choose to be, like, super easy on the kid, right? Which is kind of what Yugi does to Rebecca, I guess. But let me just say how this analogy doesn't work. The kid is going to beat Michael Jordan in an official game, like, say, like the Houston Rockets just choose a child. If the Houston Rockets choose that child and that child beats the chosen Michael Jordan by, like, a point even, right? Like, the kid just wins. Like, the kid still wins the game. Like, that's how that goes. You are straight up saying, and keep in mind, this is Michael Jordan going easy. That's not even fair of a comparison. Yugi just straight up concedes. Like, he just gives up. And, you guys are trying to say that that doesn't count. I'd recommend the 72-hour surgery to get you off of Atem's fucking dick, dude. Oh my god. Like, yes, I lose, and I show that on stream, and you get, or on the video, right? And you guys just go, oh, but he didn't actually lose. You guys, get off his dick. Like, straight up get off his dick. Like, y'all sad as fuck. Touch grass. Like, that's an abomination, man. Like, like, you are just sad. But, oh my god. Like, I lose. Oh, but did he really lose, though? Did he really lose? Yes. Yes. You're dumb. Your dad is dumb. There's gonna be someone in the comments like, if you're gonna insult my intelligence, why do you have to be so negative? Because you're... Bro. You're a blight on my channel and my society, bro. You are a blight to my fucking eyeballs. I don't want to look at you. Like, this is the most brain-dead take that, oh yeah, losing doesn't count. And I even made fun of you punks in the video. And all of you were, like, didn't take the self-awareness to actually realize, oh, that's me. No, you just continue that punk behavior. Good luck getting anyone that likes you in your life. Like, those people are also going to be toxic. Swear to God. Next up, we have Kaiba. Judai lost to Kaiba, man. Kaiba prob could defeat Mai. Kaiba deserves the title because he should have had a serious win. So Kaiba. There were a lot of comments that all pretty much said, hey, you know, but they can 1v1, right? Like, they can, this person can 1v1 that duelist. Well, yeah, but, like, Frost and Chill, like, those guys, whatever they're called, I don't care anymore. Those guys could probably lose to Jaden or Kaiba or anyone, really. Like, Aster Phoenix and Jesse, even. So, like, no, like, they're not really a threat. So the thing is, right, like, I'm not following that. I'm not just gonna say, like, the best duelist is the king of games. Like, you gotta fight, dude. You, like, this is just the same mentality of, like, going up to, like, just going X and 3 at locals or at OICS, going home and just going, man, I really just top 4'd that tournament. No, you didn't. You did not duel to get to that point. Like, that's not how that works. You can't just not play the tournament and go, oh yeah, I would have won. You're no better than, like, Dorito-crusted dads watching the Super Bowl and just going, oh yeah, I really should have made that play. Like, you don't know anything. You don't know anything based on statistics. How's your fantasy football team doing? That thing you care about. Like, no, I'm just not gonna do this. Like, I'm not gonna try this attempting canonification. There is no king of games. It's a dumb translation from an era where English translations changed words and motivations of characters. It's the same as the Shadow Realm doesn't actually exist in Yu-Gi-Oh! Oh, well, yeah, I'm aware that the Shadow Realm doesn't exist. They just die. Like, they're just sent to hell. Like, that's straight up what it is. Like, the Shadow Realm's a complete dubism. But King of Games is just something that's so iconic, as well as Shadow Realm. Like, if people still reference the Shadow Realm, like, you know, that picture of Hugh Neutron and stuff like that, like, it makes sense enough. It makes sense. And people reference King of Games, so I just wanted to talk about it, and I figured it'd be fun. Like, like, I called Jaden instead of Judai. Are you really gonna say that's a dumb translation and that makes it, like, less valid? Like, this isn't like the Cyrus Tyranno duel, where it's just a dubism. This is just translation, and I find it funny. We have no idea if Jaden would have lost to Yugi. We literally do, though. He literally attacked into Slifer with no way of beating it and stopping it from destroying Neos and taking all of his life points. So, this goes on twofold, right? This goes twofold. The first fold is that Jaden says, "Let's go, Neos!" Like, who knows, right? That could mean attack. Like, it could just be a nice ending shot. Like, are you really gonna look at, like, something beautiful or, like, something that's just meant to be artistic, right? And you're going to go, but that's not how it would happen in real life. Like, I just don't get that. It's art. It's just meant to look cool by the end of the day and, like, make people feel things. And I feel like that's just what this was going to do. And also, we've had things happen from deck before in the anime, and, like, just, it's just, you don't know. And it's a no contest. We don't know. Like, even the wiki says that it's a no contest, right? Like, that you don't know. I don't know why y'all feel like you have, like, all the correct answers when I'm watching the same footage that you did and no one's life points dropped to 0. Like, dude could have just gotten, like, Honest Neos from deck or whatever. It doesn't matter. Like, dude, I just don't feel like we should really, like, I don't count no contests, okay? That's just silly. And that's what this is. Even if Mai didn't lose to Paradox Brothers, I'm 99.9% positive that Jaden take the King of Game title. That's because Night Shroud literally beat everything in the multiverse, and Jaden beat Night Shroud. So yeah, by technicality, Jaden is the King of Games. I mean, Jaden is the King of Games after beating Night Shroud Yusuke. Like, that's just the case because Yusuke beat Jesse, right? That's just the case. But, just to say that I would like to know, right? That I don't really, like, we talked about this earlier, how I'm not gonna count, like, oh yeah, this person would've won if they just fought it. Like, I'm not gonna say that. It's, even though I love Jaden, I'm not gonna give him that point. He's, primarily because he's already the King of Games, so I don't even know what point's being made. If you want to go off that even more and add Bonds Beyond Time as well, Paradox beat Jaden at the start of the movie. I'll cut you off. No, he didn't. Moving on. That just didn't, what are you talking about? I get this comment more often, and it's not, like, what are you talking about?
Here's my thought about that topic. Was it means to be king, is it you win, or you're someone that literally give no shit what kind of situation? I say Joey is true king of games. Yeah, he doesn't win much, but from all the people I've seen in the show, he's the only one that literally made the god of Egypt fear for his life. What are you talking about? But always collapse because he doesn't give up. He knows what is on the game and stack. It's like if a king stands up against a lord. Can someone decode this? Like, genuinely? Like, I feel like I need a... like, the Enigma machine for this. Well, considering the entire Seal of Arcalcos arc is anime only and non-canon, so technically none of its duels count. You're lame. Bruh. Like, I don't... People just go by the manga for everything, and it's so pretentious. Because you're just sitting there, like, do you just skip this when you watch the show? Or are you just like, this wasn't penned by the one person, so, even though it got, like, official, like, sign-offage by Kazuki Takahashi. Fun fact, I bet y'all didn't know that. But, do you just skip it? Do you just watch it and go, oh, none of this matters. Oh, I can't wait to comment on things. Like, who cares, dude? Touch grass. I'm not sure you understand how the King of Games title works. You don't lose over a single loss in a tournament setting. P.S. Yugi didn't obtain said title till after defeating Pegasus. Okay, comments. Is it based on a single loss in a tournament setting? But it's not even about a tournament setting, a lot of y'all said. So what is happening? And the title after defeating Pegasus, I just wanted to start the video off with the videotape duel, just that people would know what we're getting into. That being the first duel just kind of, like, sets the tone, you know, of it being, like, we're probably gonna have to make a few decisions here on, like, what counts and stuff, and I'm definitely counting this. No one doesn't count the Pegasus thing, but they refuse to count Yugi conceding. Pegasus scamming Yugi out by time rules, which, by the way, is garbage. Like, I'm not defending that. That's like, oh, if only that like, hologram took a little bit less time to attack. Like, what? That doesn't matter at all. But, y'all will count that, but won't count actually surrendering. Okay, buddy. Gotcha. The only person to defeat Atem in a duel outside of a tournament is Raphael, and Atem takes that win back later. Outside of a tournament. Okay. Rebecca. Plenty of people said, even with your logic, Rebecca doesn't count because she duels Yugi, not Atem. Yugi obtains King of Games from Atem at the end of the series, and that's where it ends. Well, first of all, you're super-de-duper wrong, so stop thinking that you're correct. And second of all, I said at the beginning of the video, I'm gonna be... I know it's crazy because you had to listen to it. I may have worded it, like, incorrectly. It sounded good, and keep in mind, I made it, like, quite late in the night, so I may have just worded it incorrectly. But essentially what I was trying to say is that I'm not going to be discerning between them. I'm not discerning between Atem, Little Yugi, and the Pharaoh. I'm not going to be discerning between them. They're all the same person to me. And if you think that's ridiculous, well, they're all in the same body. And I'd like to just say that that makes them the same person to a degree. Like, I feel like that's pretty fair. A friend of mine has DID, which is very similar to what Atem is going through, like Atem and Yugi. You know, two souls, two completely different personalities put into a body. Like, I'm not going to talk about DID fully, but I am going to say that, you know, it's essentially just think of Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, a lot of people with dissociative identity disorder do look towards Yu-Gi-Oh! And just go, yeah, that's pretty much it. Like, that's just correct. The issue with that is that, my friend with DID does not give wins to only one of their alters. Like, it's the system that takes wins, you know? Like, it's not like they're going to say, hey, can you say this, like, first place trophy in this track and field meet? Like, can you just put it to one of my alters? That's also not the name that you see on, like, on the registration that I put in here, because I put my system's name. I feel like I could have worded it better, and that I'll concede, but, yeah, I was trying to say I don't discern between them, because if you do, then what do you do for Yugi defeating Pegasus? You really gonna try me on that? Hate to be that guy, but as a big fan of GX myself, I can tell you that Frost and Thunder did escape the prison. They were freed when Jaden and Aster beat Sabrina. We saw them leaving at the end of the episode, so because he escaped and never dueled again, technically Frost is the true king of games. It's only him because he took down not just Cyrus and Hasselberry, but also his own partner Thunder in the duel, so he was technically the winner. So a one-off character is the king of games. How sad is that? And the comic still goes on, but this is the important part. This is where I genuinely messed up. This is, like, the one point where I can say that there is no misinterpretation, I just messed up.
And this is actually a very good comment. Thank you, Zexelbrony479. Really, this is the one that's got to point me out, but no, that's very fair. I forgot about that. I'm gonna be honest. I tried looking it up. It didn't come up very quickly, so I just assumed that they were sealed forever because we never saw them again. But yeah, genuinely no, they do win. I continued it, and I guess I could reiterate that if we really want to count that, then that's the case, unless we want to give it to Serena, and in that case, it's the Mai and Raphael thing all over again, but yeah, y'all are right. In a timeline, Frost and Thunder are the king of games. And while you did say that Frost is the only one because he also took down Thunder in the duel, they were in a tag match, and it wasn't a 1v1v1 like Jaden versus Jesse versus Yusuke, right? It was literally just a 2v2. That's how the duel is known. So I just wanted to... I feel like even if your partner goes to 0 life points, they still win, you know? And there is precedent for that. There's the tag tournament in GX, where it's Jaden and Alexis that end up winning the whole thing. And both of them get the win. That's just how that works to me. Especially considering you can also just have tag matches on EDO Pro and win. When it go, that's just kind of how it goes. It's a little bit funky on EDO, but... and it's not, exactly what this is, but I feel like it's a good enough representation to say that Frost and Thunder both win. So, we can agree to disagree on that. I'm totally fine on that, but yeah, Frost and Thunder did escape the Mirror Prison. They are King of Games in a timeline. Unless you just feel like that's, a punk move, in which case, whatever. It's up to you, man. And then this is one of the top comments. If we don't count Yugi's loss against Rebecca, because even if he surrendered, Rebecca's grandpa showed that Yugi would have won if he didn't have surrendered. Or if we count Raphael versus Maya's duel, it all ends with Yugi being the king of games. Pretty funny if you ask me. My wife comments and says, how does a surrender not count, bruh? He responds with, this one is special because Yugi had the perfect card to win the game, and he knew how to use it to win, but he purposefully chose to lose in order to send a message to Rebecca. He let her win. That's why it can be counted as not a loss. A win is... Letting your opponent win is not a loss. Letting your opponent win is not a loss. If I misplay, I never lose. Because I let my opponent win. Yes! I'm so good at everything I put my mind to. Oh my god. Oh, I'm gonna bust the fattest nut. It's ridiculous. I don't agree at all. And the fact that more people upvoted this than most other comments is disgusting to me. Y'all need to get off Atem's dick. That's incredible to me. I remember years ago I made a video about Atem's deck and how it really isn't the best. People were like, why didn't you just add in 5 copies of Pot of Greed? And I'm like, bro, I hate these people. Please think for yourself. Please think for yourself. Please think for yourself. That is all I am asking. Please think for yourself. Objection. Despite Yugi conceding to Rebecca before Battle City, that does not mean Yugi forfeits the title of King of Games, as that duel happened outside of a tournament setting, meaning it was a casual match. It didn't seem really casual when it was about, the entire point of Blue Eyes. About the stolen card. This was a grudge match, dude. I don't know how casual you're talking. When I say I'm just hanging around casually, I don't mean that I'm, plotting revenge for someone who wronged my family. Your Honor, there's a glaring contradiction in the defendant's testimony. The defense argues Yugi would still be the king of games. Cringe? That's all I gotta say to how you worded this. If you want to go off that even more in Bonds Beyond Time, Paradox beat Jaden at no. I hope you know by Kaiba threatening to jump off does not count as a loss. People like you who count that as a loss make me upset. That's just BS. You count that as a loss. Kaiba could have died and I could care less. I hate him as a character. He's like Vegeta, but his ego is worse than Vegeta. Kaiba was like, I have money, who cares? So the thing is, right, Atem pretty much throws because Kaiba's threatening to throw himself off a ledge and kill himself. And, I did not count that as a loss for Kaiba. I was counting it as a loss for Atem. And honestly, this is so all over the place that I don't even know what you're arguing at a certain point. But yeah, no. How do I respond to this? I'm just saying that, yes, losing is a loss. And I'm not counting Kaiba as losing. He just manipulated his opponent to win. Is that cheating? He wasn't caught for it, so, I mean, it still goes. If Atem had the title at that point, that goes to Kaiba, Kaiba goes to Pegasus, Pegasus goes to Atem. So, yeah, doesn't matter. Yugi has 2 or 3 most powerful decks in the Duel Links right now. Gandora, Magnet Warriors, Dark Magicians, also including Gaia, the Fierce Knight, and Chaotic Soldiers. I'd like to note that as of the meta, when this comment was posted, it's literally just Gandora that matters. The rest of them are, you can hit King of Games with them, but you can also do that with literally every deck in the game if you want to. If I'm not mistaken, they considered us the strongest deck archetypes to make Yugi and Atem as equal King of Games based on fact archetypes, and I mentioned that Atem has capitalized the most dangerous and strongest skill ever, Destiny Draw. That's the fact. Ooh, I forgot he has Buster Blader too. Sexy. I'm so confused. But in the end, Atem already unlocked his magical skill to draw whatever card he wants, so his opponent can only be Kaiba, not Mai or Jaden, because the last duel in DSOD is the duel between Kaiba and Atem in Ancient Egypt, and there's no new episode. I guess the result could be either the duel not having finished yet, or maybe Kaiba losing to Atem, so he wants another round. Smile. In all series? The result of a duel is determined by the heart of the card, so Atem's power may beat Kaiba's calculation like always. Can someone please respond to me in the comment section of this video to let me know what is happening here? Yeah, the whole Jaden vs. Yugi one was Atem using time travel shenanigans to make Jaden face a younger version of himself to regain the spirit of dueling. And we know that Atem can do time travel shenanigans because of the final season of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Where they go back in time and Yugi has the duel with the Pharaoh after they get back from being in time in order to send him to the afterlife. Some brave soul responds. Atem never used time travel on Jaden. That was Yugi. Yachty used time travel. Atem was in the afterlife before GX even took place. Yeah, that's a fair point. I forgot the GX took place well after the original Yu-Gi-Oh! How do you forget that? Like, there's sequel. It's a sequel. That wasn't time travel. That was a shadow game RPG created by Yami Bakura. That arc is literally called the King/Pharaoh's Memories arc. I hope all of you know that you could not pay me. Actually, you could pay me, but I'm not watching Season 5 of the original series. It confused me so much as a kid that, like, it has just turned me off of Season 5 forever. Like, I'm not messing with it. I'm just not going to. Right? Like, I'm not gonna bother. Like, literally, it doesn't matter. But also, yeah, that's kind of why I didn't want to count the Atem versus Jaden duel, because it's up in the air, first off, and second off, I have no idea what's going on at all. It is just, I have no idea how it happened. Hence why the Kaiba thing also has a split off, so that'll count. With all due respect, I gotta disagree with this because at the beginning of the video you stated you would not count Little Yugi's duels as Atem dueling, but then you did because the Rebecca duel was played by Little Yugi, not Atem. I was trying to say that they all co-aligned, okay? I even doubled down on this during the Mind Shuffle thing with Atem and Yugi. So if you're really gonna say I never said it, how about that? Like, they're in the same body. Like, I don't care if Atem had nothing to do with that duel, they're in the same body. Come on! Like, really? Atem is the king of games, but then Rebecca takes it from Yugi, so Atem's still the king of games, but then it's the same deck and the pilot's pretty much the same, so, like, also Rebecca... Like, no. It's ridiculous. Like, if you genuinely think Rebecca winning doesn't count, I'm sorry, you don't understand how real life works. That's just facts. Like, I'm gonna be completely dead ass with you. Like, genuinely, it just makes me mad. Because I just don't understand why you feel like you need to put me in a gotcha moment. When I can put you in a gotcha moment, man. If we count only Little Yugi duel that matters being the ceremonial goodbye duel, there are others, then he would be the king, but since Yugi won by plot device against the gods because that's not how their effects work, and your earlier mentioned rule of not counting Little Yugi's duels, I say we do not count it, therefore Atem stays the undefeated king of games. This is the hottest take I've ever seen. The ceremonial duel doesn't count because I like the Egyptian gods. Are you 7? Really fun video idea. Love wacky stuff like this. It's both funny and kind of amazing watching this title worm its way through the generations and change hands. Rules feel a little inconsistent though. Inconclusive duels don't count, so not counting Jaden vs. Atem makes sense, since that had no on-screen outcome. But then you can't count Mai and the Paradox Brothers duel at all because that's the very definition of inconclusive. The duel literally never even started on screen. Well, yeah, that's why I did a timeline split, because I just wanted to talk about how it could go on to GX theoretically, and I just thought that would be a fun thing to talk about, you know? I just figured that that would be very funny, and I do understand noting that as maybe a bit inconsistent. So, that's a fair point. Other comments pointed out the other two, namely Lil Yugi losing to Rebecca and not Atem, and mine Raphael's duel should probably count, considering the show's no stranger just hard cutting to someone losing with no on-screen duel. I do understand that, but I could have probably made a timeline split for it, just because I genuinely... It could go either way, and I don't know why people are so adamant about it. Like, even this guy says probably, so it'd still be fine for a timeline split at the very worst, but I just didn't count it at all because it would just make the video entirely boring at that point. One thing I'm willing to give you here is that at least GX and onward, they're usually at least put a life counter going 2-0 on screen as they fall over if it's a duel. Here they don't, so it's at least slightly ambiguous, and knowing how silly the Orichalcos arc is, honestly, who knows? Exactly. It's all wacky. It's all cartoons. Finally, I want to comment on the Kaiba Man thing because I think basically all of it can be explained away by their dual spirits, their ghosts, they can do what they want. Like, if Kaiba Man manifests a deck out of, like, spirit energy or whatever, any cards can be in it that he wants. He already manifested his spirit room at the bottom of the hot spring, so it's safe to say that they make the rules there. It's so wishy-washy and confusing that like, keep in mind, me saying the Kaiba Man is Kaiba, that's, like, completely irrelevant to this entire video. I just figured it was funny to bring up and make things be even wackier. And I just wanted to also predicate it on the idea that, what do you call it? That a lot of people, like, as they were watching the duel, they were saying, oh yeah, is that him himself in the sub and the dub? Like, Chaz, Shumley, and Cyrus, they're, like, convinced this is actually Kaiba, so it is pretty ambiguous just off the bat. And a lot of people say, like, oh yeah, but you talking about Kaiba summoning himself, and it just summoned another copy. Yubel does that too. Yubel is massively faster than light, can create many clones of herself, and can, like, just fuse the multiverse together. Like, I think Yubel breaks every rule. I don't think we ever, like, I don't think that matters. You can show me another dual spirit that does this. Well, I'm willing to listen. I'm also gonna guess Kaiba Man summoning himself there is being non-traditional is because he immediately sacrificed himself to bring out a blue eye, so that'd be a little awkward to walk out in front and then I guess walk backwards again to sacrifice himself. I feel like, you know, blocking-wise, he could walk forward as he places a card onto the battlefield, and then he can just, like, dramatically jump back, put his arm, like, forward and summon Blue Eyes White Dragon. I feel like that would be a pretty cool shot. I do understand, like, the creative decision to do that, though. That might just be the case, and there doesn't have to be an in-universe reason for it. To me, there's so much preventing the actual Kaiba from being there, not the least of which being, what the hell is he doing giving a pep talk to Jaden Yuki, and Kaiba would never teach anyone winning isn't everything. That's like his whole life motto. Well, yeah, I can... Okay, so the first point, right? That, what is he doing giving a pep talk to Jaden Yuki? I can imagine that as Kaiba's matured and Yugi was talking about, like, this brave young soul that he could sense that has, that, like, he gave Wing Karibo to, right? I can feel like that being a conversation. Like, that's not the worst thing in the world, and maybe it's, I don't know. The fate of the world's also at stake, so that could also be a thing. And without the world, Kaiba makes no money. And also, that Kaiba would never teach anyone that winning isn't everything, that's his whole life motto. He's grown up quite a bit from DM to GX. He kind of grows up quite a bit, and becomes a lot less of a megalomaniac. In addition to that, you can think of it as very selfish altruism, like teaching Jaden to never give up. Or that winning isn't everything, that'll, like, loosen him up, right? And that'll just mean that Kaiba will continue to be the best, because he sees that Jaden is an up-and-comer, you know, and planting the seed of winning isn't everything into his mind, maybe something. It's just that, like, if we go off of character ideas, I feel like there are reasons to go back or forth. And honestly, it could do anything. Hate to have spent so much of the comment with critiques, but really do love the video overall. Fun idea that gets people thinking and talking great stuff. And this is how you're gonna make me listen to your ideas? This has been 45 minutes of this. And it finally got to a good comment. Like, this is a very good comment. Like, I feel like I could have a discussion with this person instead of someone just calling me any slur in the book. And me responding with, do you fart? Just for the sake of, A, comedy, and B, to make them shut up because I'm not gonna listen to them. You remember, you attract more flies with honey than with vinegar, that sort of thing. Try not to be an asshole on the internet. Like, I feel like that's a pretty fair thing to ask of people. And I'd really appreciate that. Hope you guys like this video. It's been quite a long one. You can watch the original if you somehow made it to this point and didn't get it. Like, you still need the context. You can go and see that. But I feel like I addressed my points pretty well. I made a community post about this. People were like, why are you worried about the negativity? Do you just never take criticism to try to be better? Like, do you paint something terrible and then you force everyone to say that it's great because you tried really hard? No, I want constructive criticism. And I also want to defend myself. Like, bro, imagine people like that in court. Why are you worried about the assault charges? Why aren't you just, like, reading a book? Why are you trying to fight it? Like, it's just insane to me. Like, some people have just such smooth brain, like, I've never lived a real day on the planet sort of life, you know? They have that mindset. It's insane to me. So if you guys like this video, please leave a like, subscribe, all that. Oh my god. Also, remember that I'm streaming right now. Oh, lord. This exact moment, because I'm recording this at 10 p.m. It's like my bedtime right now. And dear god, these are some of the worst comments. Some good ones, though. Some good ones. But, like, bro. Other people can disagree about stuff, like the econ video. Like, oh, it was playing more things, but... Bruh. That's not the issue at all. Like, this is so much worse. Alright, I'm probably gonna cut it off. Go check out the stream. I feel like this is a good enough video. Y'all head out. I'll see you soon. Check out the channel, all that, all my plugs. Subscribe to my OnlyFans.